What's going on, everyone? So, Nikola Vucevic. A lot of people I see still really want the Lakers to go and acquire him. It's more than a realistic possibility. Supposedly, he can be had for 2 seconds. Lakers just so happen to have that, so they are in a position to potentially go get a Vucevic. You go get Rui Hachimura and a Jalen Hood-Schifino, and there's Vu. Give up the seconds, and now you got that big physical interior center that could do multiple things out there on the basketball court. I'm not against Vucevic at all. And I've kind of came more and more around to the idea of Vu, especially now that you got Dorian Finney-Smith, kind of got your 3-and-D wing. But the beauty of him, he's so flexible as far as like positions he can play and ways that he can defend, right? He's the only player in the NBA that has defended 1 through 5, literally, for at least 15 minutes or more. That is huge, right? So his versatility, particularly on the defense side, I think would go a long way. You could slot, your 5 could be Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Vucevic. You got nice balance, size, versatility, rebounding, a little bit of everything. I do worry about the defensive side of things. However, with, Austin Reeves, not this great defensive piece. LeBron James, he could be a little rough, kind of take possessions off defensively. Nikola Vucevic isn't this great rim protector, although Anthony Davis would kind of more free range to where he can kind of cover more ground, kind of operate out there as like the help side defender and stuff like that. I think that could go a long way. My biggest problem still remains LeBron James playing the 3. And it's not because, he's terrible or anything crazy like that. It's just his age, right? The reason he's playing the 4 is not because everyone just wants Anthony Davis to have to play the 5, especially when Anthony Davis has been so vocal about, he's not saying I don't want to play the 5, I just don't want to play it full time, and yet he's still playing it full time, right? And the reason for that is because everyone understands LeBron James needs to play the 4 at this stage of his career. He's age 40, officially now, right? Year 22, and on top of that, he's dealing with a foot injury already. The same foot he's been dealing with for years now. And I don't care who you get. If LeBron James is not healthy or on one leg hobbled, you're not winning a championship, right? So to me, it's like, is LeBron sliding over and playing the 3? Is that what's best for the Lakers? I don't know if that's the case, right? 1, would LeBron be willing to do it? And 2, right, do you really want to run the risk of him getting worn down? However, it's just kind of, Nikola Vucevic is one of the better players, period, available on the market, right? And especially at the reason price. He might be so cheap right now. It might be one of those things you just do it and figure it out. Worst case scenario, if you have to bring him off the bench, you bring him off the bench, right? Like if LeBron's getting gassed or whatever, or maybe you kind of work it out and scatter it, or, maybe on, offense, right? You have LeBron slotted out on the perimeter, right? Basically 1 through 3, wherever, right? It doesn't matter. It's offense, right? This isn't the Y, it's the NBA, right? Slot him anywhere out on the perimeter. But defensively, maybe you have Anthony Davis on the strong side and LeBron on the weak side. But then that kind of defeats the purpose of Anthony Davis as your weak side help, right? That defeats the purpose of him as that help defender that can kind of mask Vucevic and his limitations. Although defensively, out on the perimeter with Anthony Davis kind of patrolling, that could maybe help. It's just the issue still remains is that I'd worry about the defense, and I'd worry about how do you slot and properly get LeBron James. Now, as far as the pros go, because there would be a lot of pros, and maybe it does. Maybe it's so good you have no choice, right? Like, again, you're getting a 20-10 center that can give you a block and a steal a game. He's just not a great defensive player. Like, on an island, he's not great. If you funnel, which a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith would help a ton because he's really good at the angles defensively, so he can kind of funnel guys right into Vu, and Vu can clean it up. But Vu he's the best center on the market, right? Like he's the best center available as far as like just talent and what he's capable of doing on the basketball court. Again, you're talking about a guy that's a legit 20-10 center that can make plays. I mean, one of his best attributes is his ability to pass, right? And his ability, you could literally run your offense through him on time, right? Like something I've talked about with like Jonas Valanciunas is the calming constant that he gives you. right? Like Valanciunas is a guy that he doesn't need setup. Well, Vu is a supercharged version of that, right? Like he doesn't need setup. You just drop the ball down to him and he can just go to work, stretch the floor, knock down the three ball. Offensively, you'd be insane, right? Because of his passing ability, his ability to finish and finish through contact, his ability to stretch the floor. Like offensively, you'd be fantastic. Defensively, can you be good enough, right? Can you be serviceable enough? It's possible. And can you make sure LeBron doesn't get worn down? Maybe the solution to that is like you're cutting his minutes down, right? So maybe you're playing him, only like 30 minutes a game or 28 minutes a game. And maybe you're kind of scattering it to where he does still play minutes at the 4, right? So, you start, say, Vu and Anthony Davis with LeBron at the 3. Well, at the whatever, maybe instead of the 7-minute mark, maybe it's the 8-minute mark, right? And you're taking LeBron out and you're putting him and you're getting him some extra rest, and then you're bringing in Max Christie, slide, Dorian Finney-Smith to the 3, right? Then at whatever the 2-minute mark, Anthony Davis goes to the bench, or let's say Vu goes to the bench. Anthony Davis slides to the 5, LeBron comes back in, slides at the 4, he plays the 4. And then you just stagger Anthony Davis and Vu the rest of the way. So LeBron still gets to play the 4. Yeah, he's playing 30 minutes a game, but he's still playing the 4, maybe 15 minutes a game, something like that. I mean, there's ways that you can be creative. There's ways that you can figure it out to where I think it might be worth it. And again, like I default to like, where are you going to get a better player for the price? Right? Like literally Rui and like a vet minimum guy essentially gets you there. Jalen Intrafino and Rui Hachimura get you Valanciunas. You have to give up your 2 seconds, fine, so be it. Right? He's worth that. Now you got a legit 20 and 10 center that is big, physical, can do multiple things out there on the basketball court. I lean, the more that I think about it, the more that like I've talked about it over these last, couple months, the more I've come around, the more I like the idea. It's just my biggest concern is this guy on the poster behind me, LeBron James, right? Can he stay healthy enough to where, you don't have that concern and wear him down? You'd have to be creative and figure it out. But like Anthony Davis with Nikola Vucevic would be the best front court in the league. I mean, he's 34 years old, but his skill set, like he's going to be good in, another 2-3 years, right? Like he'll be like how Brook Lopez is right now. Brook Lopez is 36, right? And he's still excellent because he's not like, Vu isn't so reliant on this like athleticism and hyper. No, he's just a very skilled, sound big man that can just do a little bit of everything out there on the basketball court. So he's not a guy that you're worried about just becoming unplayable. And worst case, you can always default him to the bench, right? And next season he'd be like an expiring 20? I think he's 21 million at that point, right? Like so you'd have things like point is you'd have this flexibility. You could include him in a trade later on if it doesn't work out, right? Like there's ways to kind of make it make sense. It's just do the pros outweigh the cons. The problem is the reality is you might not know until you actually get there, right? Like I've talked about, the only way like it really makes sense to do that, like if you could get a Zion, right? Just argument's sake, right? I don't necessarily think that will happen, but if you could get a Zion, he is so good, so impactful, such a game changer when healthy, that it justifies moving LeBron to the 3, right? Because even if LeBron does get worn down and is on one leg, Zion Williamson, who has literal top 5 talent, and Anthony Davis could be enough to potentially carry you. And the risk is worth the reward. Get what I'm saying? Where Vu is the risk worth the reward. Is he really going to still be a 20 and 10 center? Probably not. Maybe, but if he's like a 15 and 8 guy or 15 and 10 guy, and he's giving you like 3 or 4 assists, and he's shooting 38% from 3 or what, I know he's shooting like something insane, but I'm saying like more realistic from 3-point range, right? Depending on how it shapes up, to me, it's one of those things where you won't know till you do it. Right? But also, you don't want LeBron just taking plays off at the 3. He can do it at the 4 because, again, it's the weak side of the action. All of the action usually happens on the strong side, right? At where the 3. That's why 3s are so important because they're responsible for so much, right? Rebounding, chasing down loose balls, defending out on the perimeter, right? Like all these things are important. And you can't have a guy in LeBron James going like, okay, I'll do it this possession, but the next 5 I'm not. Right? Like that could go very poorly. Now, rebounding, you'd be fantastic because LeBron is a good rebounder and he's got the athleticism still to chase down those loose balls and jump up. You'd be big. I mean, again, you're talking about like a 6'9" LeBron, 6'10", 11 Anthony Davis, 7 foot Vu. Like you'd have size, physicality. Again, it might be so, like offensively, you might be so good that it's worth it. Right? I mean, think of the actions and sets you could run, especially, again, with Vu being the passer that he is. To me, it's one of those things where if it happens, I will be stoked. I will be super thrilled. I will be hyping it up like we just got Hakeem, right? Like I'll be genuinely like let's go win a championship. But if it doesn't happen, I'll be okay, depending on obviously, if the Lakers make other moves. They don't do anything else, right? Like, if it's Vu or nothing else, give me Vu all day. But I'm saying, like, let's say instead of that, it's like Valanciunas and a Malcolm Brogdon, or Valanciunas and a Bruce Brown or something like that, then sure, fine. Like, I'd still be, like, it's okay. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mix in the middle? What do you think of Vu? Do you like Vu? Do you hate Vu? Do you mixed? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.